through the Islamic and Ottoman periods to the present. The nominated property include the impressive Diyarbakir city walls of 5,800 meters, with its many towers, gates, buttresses, and 63 inscriptions from different historical periods, and the Hevsel gardens that link the city with the Tigris River and supplied the city with food and water. The city walls and the evidence of their damage, repair and reinforcement since the Roman period present a powerful physical and visual testimony of the many periods of the region's history. In terms of category of cultural property set out in Article 1 of the 1972 World Heritage Convention, this is a site, and is in terms of paragraph 47 of the operational guidelines, it is also a cultural landscape. The nominated property is located in the Diyarbakir province. On an escarpment in the upper Tigris River basin lies the nominated property of 520.76 hectares within the protection of a buffer zone of 1,421.90 hectares. The Diyarbakir Fortress and the Hevsel Gardens landscape is located in part of the region known as the Fertile Crescent, an area of many cultures and civilizations over time. Structures related to this long history and the different religions, societies, states and governments still stand in the nominated property and its buffer zone. The city was laid out to satisfy the need of the local population in case of any attacks. The fortress assumed its current shape in the Roman period in the middle of the 14th century, and its location and 7,000 years of history have been closely related to its proximity to the Tigris River. There are 4 gates on 4 directions, lying on the ends of the 2 main arteries on the north, south, and east-west direction that intersect each other. The gates are Deg Gate on the north, Urfa Gate on the west, Mardin Gate on the south, and Yeni Gate on the east. Very special decorations and inscriptions on the fortress's gates and towers that are written in stone are among the best surviving examples of the Roman, Byzantine, Abbasid, and Marwanid eras. Due to the topography of the location, some sections of the city wall, such as the Yeni Gate, were not thick enough, and with time they became weak and suffered damages. Some of these damages were undoubtedly caused by neglect and removal of stones. The city walls, also known as the Outer Castle, have about 82 towers and buttresses in different sizes that support it. They have square, circular, and polygonal shapes. The Findik Tower, known as Tower 63, which was constructed during the reign of Seljuk, have an inscription on it to confirm this information. In addition to the city walls, there is an inner castle that also has 4 gates: Saray Gate, the Kupeli Gate, the Fethi Gate, and Ogrun Gate leading into the castle. The survival of the original iron door on Saray Gate until today is an important achievement. While a substantial amount of the original elements of the inner castle and city walls remain, recent restoration work were not adequately documented. Foreign materials was introduced through restoration work on some parts of the fortification. However, there are instances where the restoration reused old material from the collapsed walls. In order to minimize further damages, there are controls put in place within and around the nominated property for the sustainability of the property. Recent work, which has been a source of debate, had been halted in order to reconsider the conservation planning and methods. ICOMOS considers that exceptional care and attention to detail is required, as the stones are an extraordinary witness to the history of this region. Though there is management of the property, It is not well coordinated with management of the buffer zone property. The Hevsel Gardens is made vulnerable by settlements and business establishments that divert water upstream. The bed of the Tigris River is today reduced because of the dams that divert water. Addressing this matter is important, especially taking into account the contribution of the hydraulic and agricultural systems to the history of the site. ICOMOS considers the conditions of integrity and authenticity to be adequate but could be improved, the comparative analysis to be good and criterion 4 to be met while criterion 2 and 5 not met. ICOMOS also considers that boundaries are revised during evaluation to be appropriate. The protection is not adequate and the conservation and management systems to be adequate but could be improved. ICOMOS recommends that the nomination of Diyarbakir Fortress and Hevsel Gardens Cultural Landscape Turkey be referred back to the state party, and the rest of the decision is on the screen and is on page 281 in the English document. Thank you.
That, I think, should be that. So with that, I will move now towards adoption of draft decision 39-8B32 as amended. Adopted. On behalf of the World Heritage Committee, let me congratulate the delegation of Turkey on this inscription and grant them the floor for a brief 2-minute statement. The Ambassador of Turkey has the floor.
Madam Chair, Madam President, dear colleagues, thank you UNESCO, thank you World Heritage Committee. Greetings and thanks from the Open Air Museum and of Civilizations of Anatolia, the land of civilizations. Dear colleagues, Diyarbakir is a fortress of humanity, a fortress of moderation, the fortress of cultural diversity, the fortress of integration, a fortress of mutual recognition, a fortress of rebirth of human civilization and democracy and cultural diversity and gender diversity and gender equality. Diyarbakir is going to return this great favor and crowning of its cultural heritage by responding with all its force and commitment to safeguard the supreme values of United Nations and UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, with its strong structure, inscriptions and gates, it is indeed an outstanding example in regard to architecture, construction, technique, masonry, decoration, and not just its antiquity, but throughout the Middle Age civilizations. Diyarbakir has survived many centuries and still clearly encircles the innermost core of the historic city and the continuous habitation of human civilization. Ladies and gentlemen, this nomination in UNESCO under the roof of beautiful former capital of Germany is going to bring a new spirit of unity and harmony in our region at a time when East and West relations and relations between cultures and religions are going through a major test of human civilization. We promise you that this cultural recognition will not only serve to humanity and regional and international peace and stability, but it is also going to serve and help UNESCO to raise its voice once again in line with its mandate after the Great War, the Second World War, as has been prescribed and collectively decided by all states which make the family of the United Nations, that UNESCO will deliver. UNESCO will deliver peace, and it will plant and cultivate the seeds of humanity and peace under this August forum and under this roof. I would now like to also highlight that behind my back and on my right and left, as an example of gender equality, the Diyarbakir municipality, represented by two co-mayors, one male and one female, Madam Gülten Küsenak and Fırat Anlı, accompanied by their sub-mayors and all sub-municipalities of Diyarbakir, that's Hür Fatma Sıkbarut and Seyit Narin and Ülkü Baytaş and Nevin Soyukaya, together with Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs delegation and Ministry of Culture and Turkish National Commission for UNESCO. We are proud of you. We are grateful to you. I would briefly give the floor to the two co-mayors to greet you and to thank you on their own behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Also, the governor of Izmir is here.
You have the floor. Turkey, you have the floor.
Dünya Kültür Mirası Komitesi'nin çok saygıdeğer üyeleri.
Distinguished members of the World Heritage Committee, on behalf of Turkey and on behalf of Empedokar and on behalf of the people of my country, we offer you our thanks. In the history of humankind, we have lived for the very first time in this northern Mesopotamian region. This particular site of the Diyarbakir Fortress and Hevsel Gardens have been inscribed on the World Heritage List, and it is a joy for us. Thank you for this moment. Thank you to each and every one of you, and it's a pleasure to be here among you. Cultures are born of great minds. This is a proverb in our country, and in the northern Mesopotamian region, among our cultures, there is the Tigris, which is a point of origin for so many beliefs, regions, languages, and the Tigris has always been a crossroads of cultures from which many great things have flowed. Diyarbakir is a much older city than many others, and it's a city which encompasses so much enthusiasm, where we see the ways of yesteryear combined with aspects of modern life. And the Hevsel Gardens are a hidden jewel stemming straight from our history, where various civilizations have lived over time. I wrote my name in Kurdish. I wrote my name on the towers of Diyarbakir. This was the dream of a poet in the Kurdish language. Several civilizations have also written their name on the towers of the Diyarbakir fortress. And now UNESCO has indeed written its name on the Diyarbakir fortress. With the decision that you have taken a moment ago, the Diyarbakir fortress and the Hevsel Gardens have become once again the legacy of all humanity. You should be aware that we will be doing our absolute utmost to ensure that this property will indeed be adequately managed and safeguarded so that the fortress and the gardens are safeguarded for future generations. With all the work being done through the local authorities, through ICOMOS, through our government, there has been a lot of work done hand in hand to put forward this almost flawless dossier. And today I want to thank them for all of their work. We will continue working for this to ensure the sound management of this most precious site, which we feel belongs to all of humanity. And we will take every measure necessary to ensure that this continues to be done. But it's not only about the walls of Diyarbakir and the Hevsel garden, it's the whole area which comes under our custodianship. We will be working to ensure the safeguarding of all sites and properties in our territory. And it's the entire corpus of all of these important sites that make up our legacy. As you know, there is conflict in the region and all of these properties are under threat. But as always, the Kurdish communities are working towards the cultivation of cities of culture and peace. And we feel that it is the cultural values that will prevail, and which for all of these reasons we want to thank you for all of your support. Thank you again to one and all. Thank you to UNESCO. Our thanks to the whole of humanity. And rest assured that we will continue working in our teams in the Ministry of Culture and in our technical team with ICOMOS and the technical scientific experts of ICOMOS. Thank you to you one and all. Thank you.
Sayın Başkan, değerli komite üyeleri.
Madam Chair, dear members of the committee, first of all, on behalf of our city and on behalf of all civilizations, because remember there are 3 civilizations that have lived in this region over the millennia, and on behalf of all of those peoples, those communities and these civilizations, I'd like to thank you for this inscription on the World Heritage List. We have worked with all of these civilizations, with all of these communities. Remember that we are the custodians of this cultural heritage, and we have been most motivated in making sure that we can safeguard this site, which encompasses so many different beliefs, and values. Everybody now is a potential custodian of Diyarbakir. We invite you to come and visit this site. I'm not sure whether you can understand the extent to which the inscription of the site is going to delight everybody involved. So we want to offer you our gratitude from all stakeholders across the board. Our thanks again.